Okay, the Rockafella mix for the salmon and the oysters. First, make sure you thaw out your spinach under running water. We already got this one done. These new plastic bags make this part nice and easy. So we'll come back to that. We know it's good and thawed. All right, next thing with the Rockafella, I want to go over proper technique for mincing shallots. First, cut off one of your bad ends. You don't want that stuff to go in. Leave your other bad end on. Cut it in half, lengthwise. We have two easy pieces. Every time with these shallots, the ones that come in pre-peeled, you want to peel off that outer layer. That outer layer is always tough. It's not good to eat. So, again, cut off your one bad end. You can see how we don't want to use that. Notch it in half, two half pieces. Take off your outer layer. Then all you have left to do, why we left the other bad end on, is it gives us something to hold on to. So we're going to come back through, make several notches. Make sure you have a good sharp knife. If you don't have a good sharp knife, stop, get a good sharp knife. Cut it once that way. So I cut it back, but not all the way back to the end of it, so that I can again have something to hold on to back here. Come back through, mince straight down, and you have perfectly minced shallots, nice and small. And there's that other end that we didn't want, that we would have just thrown it out anyway. Do the rest of them that way. Now the very important part of making sure we have the spinach properly drained. Very important that you drain this really, really well and squeeze all the extra water out. If you don't, what you end up with is a very watery Rockafella, and you really reduce the amount of other flavoring in there. So you can see when this stuff first comes out of the bag, it's got a good amount of moisture in it. I like to take it, get myself something set up, whatever you can use to strain it that has nice small holes so you're not going to lose a lot of the spinach. I like to really mash it down and then pull it back up. And then mash it down and then pull it back up. If you just keep mashing it and don't pull it back up and mix it up a little bit, you won't be able to get all the water out of it. So you can kind of see that each time you go in there, squishing it down, pulling it back up, really get that water out of there. Make sure it's fully thawed, because if you still have chunks of ice in there, that's the same thing as leaving the water in there. Once you have it good and squished, it kind of starts to stick together just into a ball all by itself. You can almost pull it out all in one piece. Then you can see that all that water has now been removed from there. Very important to note that we are adding margarine and butter to this at two completely different points. So at the very beginning, when we are sauteing our shallots, garlic, and bacon, just a little bit of the melted margarine that we keep out on our stations. That's just enough to be able to saute these. We're going to saute the shallots for just a minute. Then we're going to hit it with the garlic, and we're going to hit it with the bacon. Okay, the shallots don't need to cook a lot. You see they're starting to cook, soften up, getting a little translucent. Hit them with the garlic. Just want to get that mixed in, just so it starts to cook a little bit. You don't want to overcook it, definitely don't want to burn it, want to keep that garlic flavor in there. You want to add your bacon at this point. What we're doing here is we're trying to get the bacon flavor nice and mixed around with everything in there, so that you'll be able to taste a little bit of the garlic, a little bit of the shallot, a little bit of the bacon. Now we're going to mix it a lot more later, so it's not perfectly mixed around at this point. That's fine. Turn the heat off so you don't flame up. Grab your absinthe and use it to glaze that pan. And that's all there is to it. Make sure you turn the flame off first, so you're going to get a huge flame up from the absinthe. At this point, I have my drained spinach in here. I have my pecorino romano or Parmesan cheese that we're switching to. I have my warm bacon, shallot, and garlic mixture here. I can put that right on top. Now remember, this was just sauteed in a little bit of the margarine from our saute station. At this point, now is when I add that room temperature, shelf-stable liquid butter alternative. Add that in there. Make sure it all gets in. And all of your flavor, all your ingredients are in there. Now it's just very important to get in and really work it by hand and make sure you're getting a nice, good, even mixture of everything. As you go in, you're going to find these big chunks of spinach. Make sure you use your fingers, break them up. If you don't do a really good job at this point, what happens is you end up with some orders getting tons of good ingredients and some orders being mostly spinach. So again, you really want to make sure that you get a good mix at this point. So get it in there with your hands, work it over well, make sure you're breaking up all the spinach. And obviously with a larger quantity, with a larger batch size, this is going to take longer than it's taking right now. So make sure you really work at it, make sure you're checking into it, and that it's got a good even mixture of it. And there's the Rockafella topping, ready to go.